welcome back to Silverrun Forest Farm. Jake is just on his way down to check the barley. We're here in the beginning of June, and this month at some point the barley should be ready to harvest, maybe today. So let's just pop round and have a bit of a look at it. In order to take care of the barley harvest, we're going to need to buy a header for that harvester we've been gifted, and that's going to cost us in the order of sort of 50,000. Jake's been doing some looking around, and he can get one from Agco, who bought Alice Chalmers, who in turn had bought Gleaner, so he can be pretty confident that it's going to do the job, but 50 grand is required. Now the barley is looking really good here, but it's not quite ready. Let's have a quick squiz at the table here. Right, so it looks like we're in our final growth stage before harvest, just judging by the colours over there. So maybe in the next game day, or I don't think it'll actually change in the course of the day, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. Whatever the case, we need to figure out how we're going to generate a little extra money. He's checked the animals already this morning and they are good, so no chance of a repeat problem upsetting Paige. In fact, she's kind of moved on a little bit. Jake's had a birthday since we last saw you, so things are repaired, the animals are well fed, and generally life is pretty good on Silverrun Forest Farm at present, albeit quite busy. So in terms of generating money, we'll just take all day to turn the corner. Come on. You wait and you wait. Yeah, in terms of generating money, we've still got the corn to sell. So about 36,000 litres, possibly a little bit more in the trailer. Remember the exact quantity, which will sort of generate $30,000 or so. So that's a good thing. Jake has managed to put a lot of the equipment away, so that's been taken care of. Let's just have a look at the silo here. So 36,000 in the silo, and because the silo was full, there's a trailer load here, which is another 10,000, so 46,000. So there's quite a bit of value tied up in that. And if we have a look at the price is definitely up. So we're up over the 800, heading towards the sort of top of the market. One of the things we could potentially do is run a trailer load down. How much more might it increase through the course of the day? Let's have a look here. Yeah, so it could potentially run up a little bit more. So we might just keep an eye on that through the day. And the other jobs we need to do, we want to fix the entrance a little in and out of our new shed. Oh, and that reminds me, Jake, so I mentioned it was Jake's birthday, so Paige has given him a little tree planting kit, which is pretty neat. We might have to give that a try. So the way this works is if you hit R, you can pick up the spade, and then you can come over, and I think, yeah, so right click, then take some saplings out of the pallet, and then when you get on a valid location, you can hand plant trees, which is pretty cool. So no equipment required. That's just a placeable, but just sort of stepping aside to how does that happen. So if you go into tools, I think there it is, you can put down the box, and from the box you then get the capability to use the hand tool, and then you just add pallets of saplings which you can draw upon. You can only hold 10 saplings at a time of the one sort, but in terms of what we're trying to do here, so for instance we say, well, gee, it'd be kind of nice to have and she gave him elm trees because she quite likes those, but if we wanted to put an elm tree just in here, for instance, we could. And there we go. So there's an elm sapling all planted. And so the advantage of this, of course, is you can put them pretty much wherever you like. We don't need to put them right on top of each other, but just hold down the left mouse button and we've got our elm trees planted. Now these are the base game ones, so they're going to take a couple of years to grow to maturity, but we'll get, what's that spacing there look like? We'll get 2 more in here. Same problem I have when I do the garden for my wife, but let's just put a few of these along here and dress it up a little bit. So that just sits in with the chainsaw, and we can put the spade back in the box if we want. Just run over and show you how that works. So I can return the equipment with R, and the saplings in the backpack and that go back into the box. So now I've only got my chainsaw. So that's how that little tool works, and it was a neat present, and we might use some of that, and we've got those now along the wall there, so they'll grow up quite nicely. Now let's have a look here what sort of landscaping we want to do to sort of fit this in. Well, the first thing we need to do is get rid of that lump that's sitting in the front. So if we level across here, and maybe just smooth, then potentially those trees are just in the wrong spot, aren't they? Because I don't think there's any easy way to do it. Those trees are going to have to go. So we might get rid of those. Maybe we can save the other one. Let's take the big one out. Drop that over there. So we'll move that out of the way shortly. but that works a little bit better, I think. We'll need the stump grinder, which probably means we'll end up doing, finishing the job that Jake started at the end of the last episode after we left. So as you can see, he's moved the equipment around a little bit to create some space here. And he's also filled about half a trailer in anticipation that if the corn price didn't come up, half a container, if the corn price didn't come up, he was going to need to sell another container of wood. So that's what he's been working towards. Let's just pull this tree over out of the way a little bit. Just winch you across. Pull you out of the area where we're working. And detach is Y. And that's kind of got you out of the way. Now we measure on 6 meters we like. So come up to 6 meters. Rightio. If we run over and grab the truck, we can fill up the rest of what he was working on. So what you remember, we've planted some sugar beet across here in sort of a bit of an experiment, which we can have a look at now. It's coming along quite nicely for strip farming and sort of what the angle of terrain actually works. He's not really sure how this is going to go, and to make sure that we can get the equipment in to access it, he's been clearing a space at the end of this little section of sugar beet here, and so there's just a few more trees to load on. We can take care of those pretty quickly. Shouldn't take very long to fill this container up. And then we know we've got the money for the header, so pick you up, try and get you over there before it rolls out of the grab. The other thing that Jake's been working on, and it's probably got a little ways to go, is becoming a little bit better known in town. I mentioned he had the delivery at Stumpy Morgan's container terminal the other day. He's kind of recognised up there at as a customer, and anyway, he's doing a little bit of work. Rather than having to fill and take containers all the time, and there's quite a lot of scrap timber. You'll remember there's the wood chip pickup point just outside the farmhouse actually. Now he's only used it once, but he was talking to the bloke that runs the service that operates that sell point, and his name's Buff. Don't know why, it's just everyone calls him Buff. Anyway, Buff was saying that, you know, there's always opportunities for enterprising individuals to make some money, and Jake was just thinking out loud really, but noticed that there's a couple of sawmills, but there's no one really offering firewood in town. So he was just sounding out with, you know, Buff, who's been around for a while. Is that because, you know, it's not required, or what's the deal? And Buff's view was, well, people tended historically to take care of it themselves, you know, and they cut their own firewood, but lately everybody's been really busy, and there's a bunch of younger folks and new folks moved into town, you know, like Jake and Paige. Whoop, a slippery little sucker, this one. Get under there. Ah. And so he didn't think it was a terrible idea. So Dake's just started a little process to see if maybe there's an opportunity to either go into business with Buff or do something, you know, himself, but alongside the kind of the wood chip business, but more in the firewood sort of reign. Now, he might need some specialty equipment and the like, so that's probably not a 5-minute job, and it, you know, nothing in this world is free. He's got some of the things he would need, but it's just a matter of figuring out what's going to be required and the best way to go about setting it up. So that's might be something to look at once we get past harvest, and sort of it obviously comes into its own a bit as we get more into winter. Goodness, judging the length of that is not doing very well at all. Done it again. There we go. That must be getting fairly close to full. So that's another opportunity to potentially make some money if you can figure out what's entailed there. And it's not an all the time thing, it's just a matter of looking for something to, in the same way the stables do, something to supplement the income for the times of the year when farming isn't kind of working for us. Well, at least the road's cleared here. How much more do we need to fill that container? Just another couple of 1,000 litres here. Actually, we might be able to get... Oh, we've got that one now. Just thinking we might be able to get that out of the tree that's at the... that we cut down up near the shed. So we'll leave those there for the minute. We'll run back up. We'll get the truck and see if we can put at least one piece of that into the back before we close it up. And get that off the road, and that makes it a bit easier to get the truck through. Yeah, so this area here will clear out quite nicely, and potentially next year, if the slope works a bit better, we'll be able to extend further along. Oh. If the slope works the way we think it and hope it will. Try not to tip all the logs out the back here. Looks like we'll only get one more piece in there. Let's see here. I'm gonna fit in there. How's that looking for completion? Almost. 21,700 I think is the full complement, so we'll get another piece of this in there. That should do the trick there. There we go. So what we might do is we'll move the truck out of the way. You can see the silage snake that we made at the end of the last episode there on the left. So that finished off nicely and gave us a bunch of grass bales to make some more if we need it. There's our cows, just proof positive they're pretty much full of food and straw for the moment. Let's come back over here to our landscaping. And what we might do, let's see here. How's that look? Just a small disappointment that we really got poorly treated by giants in terms of landscaping textures on this map. I think they could have made it. It wouldn't have taken much effort on their part to increase the number of textures so that we could map things in. What we might do, makes sense to me that there would be concrete across to the edge of the shed. That looks pretty flat. Oh, there's a stump we need to take care of there. I think we come out, just got to put some dirt back around our tree that we planted there. And it makes sense to me that all the way along here would be a hard stand, I think. For trailers and the like. This is always going to be something we're going to want to park off the side of this little road area. But Paige would definitely want a garden of some sort along the Other than animal mud, we don't even have a proper dirt texture. Which is just disappointing. Still like that, I think. And a couple of plants in between. The grass. Ah. Oh, we've got a bit of smoothing to do there that we've missed, and that tree's just not going to work there. We've got 2 stumps to get rid of. Go and get the stump grinder in just a second. I reckon we can sell to Paige. We took 1 tree out. But we planted 4 more. Put that on there. Step back on the high side. And winch it in with the K. Just pull it across the road out of the way. If we get that stump grinder sorted, we should be able to. We'll do there. We'll be back in a minute when we've got the stump grinder from round up the road. At 8 miles an hour, that was a noisy little dawdle round to pick up the mulcher so we could do these stumps, but we're done now. Let's see. Didn't get that. Not quite. Interestingly, it mulches the concrete, but it deals with the stump, which is all we're after. Faster than the drive round. Down there. So now we should be able to we might use slope just in case there's a slope in the edge of this track. So if we right click on the top of the slope, and then it should match that. Right click and then use our left click to pop it down. And we can do the same from here. Right click in the doorway and then over that way. A bigger circle and right click there, and that should now be a pretty seamless area. Put our asphalt down. That doesn't look too bad. Let's have a look. Walk it to see how it came up. Yeah. Been worse. Shame we can't. I think our animal mud will still look pretty crappy there, but we might use that little bit of just not a lot to choose from, unfortunately. Shame that not even all the textures that are on the map are showing. It just makes it hard to blend stuff in, but nothing we can do about that bit there. There we go. So now if we come around the corner here, how are we going to do this end? I think we'll extend our concrete down here. Like so. We'll leave that sort of grassy verge at the end there. Make this concrete across. Or asphalt it says, but more close to the concrete colour that we've got there. That's it. I think we'll leave that natural bit on the corner. Let's bring it out like so. Oops, went a bit further than I wanted to there. Not a precise science in my hands with the mouse button. But that'll do the trick, I think. Let's finish that. And then stand on the end. And I think that'll do it. I've got a doorway here, so let's bring you out around the doorway. So now we can get in and out of the shed. All the equipment fits in here terrifically. It gives you an idea how big it is. We can get our trailers and trucks over there. We'll certainly need more sheds in due course, but and maybe a lean-to, although our trees are going to grow up there nicely. That'll look pretty good. So let's get these boards sold and see if we can place our order for a header down at the shop. So headers. There's quite a lot of them. So there's a 5.5 metre one for 30. There's actually quite a few different sorts. 9 metres, 12 metres. I don't think they would run necessarily on our harvester. This one might just do the trick. I think it comes in the Gleaner livery, so that's the one we want at 48,000. So we just need to organise the extra funds and we'll be able to pick that up, I think. So placed a tentative order there. Let's go and get rid of this container. See what Stumpy's boys have got for us today. Oh, good payday today. 53 plus 5, so That's worked out nicely. Let's go back and put our order in for that that header. We'll just duck in and grab that header if we can. The one we wanted was this 28 footer. We'll buy one of those while we've got the cash. So that'll do the job really well. Now we're going to need a trailer. And it'll go on the 30-foot trailer by the looks. So I think we'll just grab one of those. Now hopefully, with a little bit of care, we should be able to lift it onto the trailer. Might position the trailer to give us a better chance though. And we lift it very carefully, just able to move across, and hopefully it'll lock straight on. There we go. Not quite square, but locked on nonetheless. So the last thing to check for the day now is the corn price. See where we're sitting with that, and also just how the growth of that barley's going, although I wouldn't expect that'll change until we roll over into the second half of June. And we'll just pull this up on along the side under the overhang, I think. There we go. All set for harvest. Now, how's the corn price doing? Corn's up to 8.40, so it was definitely worth waiting. I think it's worth taking a load down to Silverrun Market, because looking at that, the price appears to have turned, and if we've missed the top of the market, we should at least take advantage of where it's at. And we do need to get it out of the silo, because as it stands at the moment, we've got nowhere to put the barley, which is another problem to solve. Let's just go and empty this trailer out. down at Silverrun Market. It'll give us a little bit more cash in the door as well, which just increases our options, particularly if we need to order another silo. Not sure what the yield, now that it's a fully prepared crop. We could end up with a nice problem to have in quite a lot of barley off that field. We certainly got a reasonable volume of oats, but it wasn't nearly as well prepared as we have done with the barley. So the grass is growing back nicely there. Here's the market here. Let's see how we go. 10,000 litres of corn. While that's unloading, this is the other piece of land. If we have a look at the map, and it's really firmed as sort of the #1 piece on Jake's list. So we're standing just here, but it runs right the way across to the track. And then on the other side is our field there on the other side of the lake. So that bit there, it also includes the block between the store and the farmers market here. So a couple of spots where potentially if we had some other business ideas, like potentially the firewood processor, we could pop those pretty easily. So that was 8,000 there, so that filled up the coffers nicely. But yes, that block I think would make a really good field, and judging by the success we've had with timber, there's quite a high value of wood on it, so it would pay back pretty quickly. So $115,000, that's really 2 containers. 2 containers worth of timber, so it's just a matter of, can we get close enough to get the initial purchase, and then we'll get our money back pretty quickly, I would have thought. So there's this little spot just there that you could put something on. Jake was thinking about this little area on the right, just making this the grass field just along here, so that we can put a regular crop in the field along by the riding school there. So quite a few options for the next stage development of the farm. He was also having a scout, and we'll see when we harvest the field, but there's quite a bit of unused land surrounding that barley field that could increase the size of that block as well. So the prospects for increasing the output from our fields are quite substantial, I think. But for now, we might leave it at this point. We'll take the risk. See what our sale of corn did to the price, if anything. But we might take the risk for next time. It didn't change it at all. If we look at our field, it's still showing as growing. So right now we want to be waiting until next time to harvest our barley. So we'll catch up with you then when the field is good and ready to bring the crop in. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Catch you next time. See ya.